Every time you let doubt stop you, you give up a future you could have built. The road from doubt to determination is not easy, but staying the same is harder. There is one thing that stops more dreams than failure, more goals than obstacles, and more success than a lack of skill. That one thing is doubt. Doubt is the reason so many people never start. It's the reason people hold back, hesitate, and settle for less than they deserve. And if you let it, doubt will control your life. It will keep you stuck, watching other people move forward while you stay in the same place, wondering what could have been. But it doesn't have to be that way, because doubt is not the truth. It's not a fact. It's just a feeling, and feelings can be changed. You don't have to live with doubt. You don't have to stay in the same cycle of hesitation and regret. You can take control of your thoughts. You can change your mindset. And when you do, you'll start seeing possibilities instead of problems. You'll stop questioning yourself and start taking action. The question is, how do you do it? How do you go from doubt to determination? How do you stop second-guessing yourself and start believing that you can? That's exactly what we're going to talk about. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the way you think. And once you change that, everything else changes too. So if you're tired of waiting, if you're ready to take that first step towards something better, stay with me. This could be the moment everything turns around. Let's get started. Number 1, recognizing self-doubt. You know, one of the biggest challenges people face in life isn't a lack of opportunity, intelligence, or ability. It's self-doubt. That little voice in the back of your head that whispers, you can't do it. You're not good enough. What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? That voice is dangerous. It stops people from chasing their dreams. It keeps them stuck in the same place year after year, watching others move forward while they stand still. But here's the truth. That voice is a liar. And if you listen to it, it will steal your future. We've all experienced self-doubt at some point. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from. Even the most successful people you admire have had moments of insecurity. They've wondered if they had what it takes. They've questioned whether they were good enough, smart enough, strong enough. The difference is they didn't let those doubts stop them. They learned how to recognize self-doubt for what it is, just fear in disguise. And instead of letting it control them, they pushed through it. They took action anyway. And that's what you have to do too. The first step in overcoming self-doubt is recognizing it. Pay attention to the thoughts running through your mind. Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they encouraging you to move forward or convincing you to stay where you are? Self-doubt often disguises itself as logic. It sounds reasonable. It tells you to wait until you're more prepared, until the timing is right, until you have more experience. But all that does is delay your progress, because no matter how much you prepare, you will never feel 100% ready. And if you wait for that perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. Think about the times in your life when self-doubt held you back. Maybe there was an opportunity you wanted to take, but you talked yourself out of it. Maybe there was a goal you wanted to pursue, but you let fear stop you. And now looking back, you regret not going for it. You regret not believing in yourself. That feeling of regret, that's worse than failure. Because failure means you tried. It means you put yourself out there. But regret comes from doing nothing, from staying in your comfort zone, from letting fear win. So how do you break free from self-doubt? How do you silence that voice that tells you you're not good enough? It starts with action. See, self-doubt thrives on inaction. The longer you sit around overthinking, the stronger those doubts become. But the moment you take a step forward, something changes. You realize that the things you were afraid of weren't as scary as you thought. You start to build confidence, not by thinking about success, but by proving to yourself that you are capable. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the only way to build it is by doing, by showing up every day, by putting in the effort, by taking risks, even when you're scared. Every small victory, every little step forward adds up. And over time, you start to see yourself differently. You start to trust yourself. And that trust, that's what destroys self-doubt. Another thing you have to do is challenge your negative thoughts. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you keep telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you're going to fail, that you don't have what it takes, guess what? Your mind will believe it. Your actions will reflect it. But what if you started saying something different? What if, instead of saying, I can't do this, you said, I can figure this out? What if instead of saying, I'm not good enough. You said I'm willing to learn and improve. The words you use shape the way you see yourself. And when you change the way you talk to yourself, you change the way you show up in the world. It's also important to remember that self-doubt isn't based on truth. It's based on fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside of your comfort zone. But fear is just an illusion. It only has power over you if you let it. And the only way to overcome fear is to face it, to take action in spite of it. I want you to think about something. Think about all the people who have done incredible things in life. The ones who have built successful businesses, written books, created art, changed the world in some way. Do you think they never had self-doubt? Do you think they never questioned themselves? Of course they did, but they didn't let it stop them. They moved forward anyway, and because of that, they achieved things most people only dream of. Now imagine what your life could look like if you stopped doubting yourself. Imagine what you could accomplish if you replaced those negative thoughts with empowering ones. If you started believing in yourself, even just a little. Because here's the truth. You are capable of so much more than you realize. You have talents, ideas, and potential that you haven't even tapped into yet. But if you let self-doubt control you, you will never see what you're truly capable of. I want you to make a decision today. A decision to stop letting fear and self-doubt dictate your life. A decision to start trusting yourself, even when it feels uncomfortable. A decision to take action, even when you're not sure what the outcome will be. Because that's how success happens. That's how confidence is built. That's how you change your life. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to tell you that you're good enough. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. You just need to take the first step. And once you do, once you start proving to yourself that you are capable, everything will start to change. Number 2. Keep your eyes on the goal. You have a goal, something in your heart that you want to accomplish. Maybe it's a career you've always dreamed about. Maybe it's a business idea that's been sitting in the back of your mind for years. Maybe it's improving your health, getting stronger, becoming more confident. Whatever it is, you've thought about it. You've imagined how great it would feel to achieve it. But then life happens. Doubt creeps in. Distractions pull you away. You start something, but somewhere along the way you stop. And the dream that was once so clear starts to fade into the background. That's what happens when you take your eyes off the goal. Life is full of distractions, full of reasons to quit, full of excuses to delay, full of noise that makes you forget why you started in the first place. It's easy to get sidetracked. It's easy to say, I'll get to it later. But days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and before you know it, another year has gone by. And you're still in the same place, wishing you had started, wishing you had stayed focused. If you want to succeed, you have to keep your eyes on the goal. No matter what happens, no matter what setbacks come your way, no matter how long it takes, you have to remind yourself every single day why you started. Because if you don't, it's too easy to give up when things get tough. And let me tell you something, things will get tough. The road to success is not easy. It's filled with challenges. It's filled with moments where you'll feel like quitting. But that's when you need to push even harder. That's when you need to keep going. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they lose sight of the goal. They let distractions take over. They let temporary feelings decide their future. They start listening to doubts, listening to negative people, listening to their fears instead of their vision. But winners don't do that. The people who succeed are the ones who stay focused no matter what. They see the distractions, they hear the doubts, but they don't let anything pull them away from the mission. They remind themselves every single day why they're doing this. So ask yourself, why did you start? What is your goal? What is that thing that you know you need to accomplish? Maybe it's something you've wanted for years. Maybe it's something new that's calling you to step up. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Make it clear. Write it down if you have to. Remind yourself every morning why it matters. Because if your goal is clear, your actions will follow. The problem is, most people lose sight of the goal because they get caught up in the little things. They get frustrated because progress is slow. They get discouraged because they don't see results right away. But success is not about instant results. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every day and putting in the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening, because something is happening. Every small step you take is moving you forward. Every effort you put in is building something bigger. But if you stop, if you let discouragement take over, if you start looking around at what other people are doing instead of staying focused on your own path, you'll never get there. You have to trust the process. You have to keep your eyes on the goal and block out everything that tries to pull you away. There will be days when you feel like quitting, days when you feel tired, frustrated, unsure if it's even worth it. That's normal. But the difference between those who win and those who don't is simple. Winners keep going even when they don't feel like it. They don't make decisions based on feelings. They make decisions based on their commitment to the goal. If you only worked hard on the days you felt motivated, you'd never get anywhere. Because motivation comes and goes. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. Other days you'll feel like doing nothing at all. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward. Discipline is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. So here's what you need to do. Every day, remind yourself of the goal. Keep it in front of you. If you have to write it down and put it on your wall, do it. If you have to set reminders on your phone, do it. But don't let yourself forget why you started. Don't let the distractions, the doubts, or the difficulties pull you away. And don't get discouraged by slow progress. Progress is progress. Even if it's small, even if it's not as fast as you'd like, you are still moving forward. The only way you fail is if you stop completely. So don't stop. Don't lose sight of where you're going. Keep your focus strong. Keep your commitment firm. You have what it takes. You always have. But now it's time to prove it to yourself. Stay locked in. Stay hungry. Stay determined. And no matter what happens, keep your eyes on the goal. Because if you do, you will get there. Number 3, your mindset shapes your results. Your mindset shapes everything. It shapes the way you see the world, the way you see yourself, and ultimately, the results you get in life. The truth is, success doesn't start with talent. It doesn't start with luck. It starts with the way you think, the way you approach challenges, the way you deal with failure, the way you push through when things don't go as planned. Some people go through life believing that things just happen to them. They think that their circumstances control their future, that their past mistakes define them, that their limitations are set in stone. And because they think that way, they never change. They never grow. They never push past the things that hold them back. Not because they can't, but because they don't believe they can. But then there are the people who think differently. The ones who don't make excuses. The ones who don't wait for things to be easy. The ones who see every challenge as an opportunity to get better. These are the people who win in life. Not because they had an easier path, but because they refused to let anything stop them. They didn't let failure define them. They didn't let self-doubt control them. They didn't let fear make their decisions. They trained their minds to stay strong no matter what. So ask yourself, how do you think? When you face a challenge, what's your first reaction? Do you see it as a problem or as a test that will make you stronger? When something doesn't go your way, do you shut down or do you adjust and keep going? Because the way you respond determines the life you build. Your thoughts are powerful. If you tell yourself you can't do something, you'll prove yourself right. If you tell yourself you're not good enough, you'll live as if that's true, even when it's not. But if you start telling yourself that you're capable, that you can figure things out, that you're willing to work for what you want, everything changes. The biggest battle you will ever fight is in your own mind. It's the battle between your doubts and your belief. It's the battle between your fears and your courage. It's the battle between staying where you are and pushing yourself to become more. And every single day, you have a choice. You can either let the negative thoughts control you, or you can take control of your thoughts and use them to build a stronger, better version of yourself. Some people wait until they feel confident before they take action. That's a mistake. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. The more you push yourself, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable. The more you show up, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel ready, the more you start to believe in yourself. But if you wait until you feel ready, you'll never start. Your mindset is a muscle. Just like your body gets stronger when you work out, your mind gets stronger when you train it. Every time you push through fear, every time you choose to keep going instead of giving up, every time you replace doubt with belief, you're building a mind that can handle anything. And that kind of mind leads to success. That kind of mind creates results. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for things to get easier. Stop letting self-doubt and fear hold you back. Start training your mind to think differently. Start choosing strength over excuses. Start reminding yourself every day that you have everything it takes to succeed. You don't need someone else to believe in you. You need to believe in yourself. You need to develop the mindset of someone who refuses to quit. The mindset of someone who takes responsibility. The mindset of someone who knows that no matter how hard things get, There is always a way forward. Number 4, the habit of taking action. If you want to change your life, you have to build the habit of taking action. It's not enough to think about success. It's not enough to dream about what you want. At some point, you have to stop planning, stop hesitating, and start doing. Because nothing changes until you take action. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect situation. But that day never comes. They tell themselves they'll start tomorrow, next week, next month. But when tomorrow comes, they find another excuse. And before they know it, years have passed, and they're still in the same place, wondering why nothing has changed. Success is not about waiting for the right moment. It's about taking action, even when you don't feel ready. It's about doing the work, even when you don't feel motivated. Because motivation comes and goes. But discipline is what keeps you moving forward. Think about the times in your life when you had an idea, a goal, something you wanted to achieve, but you hesitated. Maybe you overthought it. Maybe you worried about failing. Maybe you let fear talk you out of it. And what happened? The opportunity passed. Someone else did what you were too afraid to start. And you were left with nothing but regret, wishing you had taken that first step. You can't let that keep happening. The habit of taking action is what separates the people who succeed from the people who don't. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having the most talent. It's about being the person who actually does something. Because there are a lot of talented people in the world who never do anything with it. There are a lot of smart people who spend their whole lives planning but never executing. And there are a lot of people with big dreams who never take the first step. If you want something, you have to go after it. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel like it. Right now, and don't make the mistake of thinking action has to be big. People get stuck because they think they need to have it all figured out before they start. That's not how it works. The people who win in life are the ones who take small, consistent steps every single day. They don't waste time waiting for everything to be perfect. They just start. They make mistakes. They learn. They adjust. But they keep moving forward. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can do today that will move you closer to your goal? Just one step. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. Because when you take that first step, you build momentum. And momentum is powerful. The hardest part of anything is getting started. But once you start, once you see yourself making progress, once you prove to yourself that you can do it, everything changes. Your confidence grows. Your belief in yourself gets stronger. And before you know it, the thing that once felt impossible becomes something you do every day. But none of that happens if you don't take action. You can read all the books. You can listen to all the advice. You can spend years preparing. But if you don't take action, nothing happens. Number 5, learning to trust yourself. Trusting yourself is one of the most important things you can learn in life. Because if you don't trust yourself, you'll always hesitate. You'll always second guess your decisions. You'll always look to someone else for answers instead of listening to your own instincts. And if you live that way, you will never fully step into your potential. Most people don't trust themselves because they've been conditioned to believe that they are not capable. Maybe they failed in the past. Maybe someone told them they weren't good enough. Maybe they've made mistakes and now they doubt every move they make. But here's the truth. You will never get where you want to go if you don't start believing in yourself. Trusting yourself doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It doesn't mean you'll always have the right answer. But it does mean that you have confidence in your ability to figure things out. It means that even if you don't know everything now, you trust that you will learn. And that kind of mindset is what creates success. Think about the people you admire, the people who have built great things, who have achieved something incredible, who have turned their dreams into reality. Do you think they got there by doubting themselves? Do you think they questioned every decision, hesitated at every turn, and asked for permission before they moved forward? No, they trusted themselves. Even when it was hard. Even when other people didn't believe in them. Even when they had no proof that it would work. They believed in their ability to make it happen. You have to start doing the same. You have to stop looking for validation from other people. Stop waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough. Stop asking for permission to go after what you want. You don't need it. You already have everything you need inside of you. The only thing stopping you is your own doubt. And I get it. Doubt is powerful. It sneaks into your mind and makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder if you're capable. It makes you think about all the ways you could fail. But here's the secret. You don't get rid of doubt by sitting around waiting for it to disappear. You get rid of it by taking action despite it. You get rid of it by proving to yourself over and over again that you can do it. Because every time you push through fear, every time you make a decision and stick with it, every time you trust yourself, instead of listening to the doubt, you become stronger. Your confidence grows. Your belief in yourself becomes unshakable. But if you keep doubting yourself, if you keep looking for someone else to tell you what to do, you will always feel lost. You will always feel uncertain. And that uncertainty will keep you stuck. So make a decision today. Decide that from this moment forward, you will start trusting yourself. Decide that you will stop hesitating. Decide that you will take ownership of your life and your choices. It won't be easy. You will still have moments of doubt. You will still hear that voice in your head telling you that you're not ready, that you might fail. But the difference is you won't listen to it anymore. You will move forward anyway. You will take action anyway. You will remind yourself that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Because that's what trusting yourself really is. It's not about being perfect. It's about knowing that even if things don't go as planned, you will figure it out. You will adjust. You will keep going. And that kind of trust is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. Number 6, the right people make the difference. We are the sum of the people we surround ourselves with. The people you choose to spend your time with, the ones you listen to, the ones you turn to for support, influence how you think, how you feel, and how you act. And here's the hard truth. The wrong people can keep you stuck, but the right people can lift you higher than you ever imagined. Think about it for a second. Who are you spending your time with? Are they encouraging you to grow? Are they challenging you to be better? Or are they holding you back, keeping you in your comfort zone, telling you that it's okay to stay where you are? I know this can be hard to hear, but the people you surround yourself with matter. If you're constantly around people who are negative, who complain all the time, who aren't interested in pushing themselves forward, then you're going to find it hard to stay motivated. You'll start to adopt that same mindset. You'll start to believe that it's normal to settle. You'll start to think that there's nothing more to achieve. And before you know it, you'll stop striving for anything better. But here's the flip side. When you surround yourself with the right people, people who are positive, people who are driven, people who are always looking for ways to improve, they'll push you. They'll challenge you to think bigger. They'll inspire you to keep going. Even when things get tough, they'll make you believe that you can achieve things you once thought were impossible. The right people will help you realize that your potential is far greater than you might have imagined. They won't just support you, they'll expect you to give your best. And in that environment, you won't settle for mediocrity. You'll be encouraged to reach for greatness. And here's the thing, sometimes the right people aren't the ones you expect. Maybe they're not the ones you've known your whole life. Maybe they're people you haven't met yet. People who share your values, your drive, your desire for growth. It's never too late to seek out people who will push you forward. Look at the people who have achieved great things. Look at the ones who've created businesses, built careers, made a difference in the world. Do you think they did it alone? Absolutely not. They surrounded themselves with people who helped them get there. They sought out mentors who could teach them, friends who could encourage them, and partners who could challenge them. They understood that no one succeeds in a vacuum. But it's not just about finding the right people. It's about becoming the right person. If you want to attract the right people into your life, you first have to become the kind of person who will inspire and elevate others. You have to be someone who is driven, someone who takes responsibility, someone who is always looking to grow and improve. Because when you start showing up like that, you'll naturally attract people who are on the same path. The people around you are either helping you or hindering you. They are either encouraging you to dream bigger or telling you to be content with where you are. They're either pushing you to be the best version of yourself, or they're letting you stay comfortable in your current situation. And if you want to grow, if you want to change, if you want to reach your full potential, you need to start paying attention to who you allow into your inner circle. It's not always easy to make these changes, though. Sometimes the people who are holding you back are the ones closest to you. Maybe it's a friend who doesn't understand your ambitions. Maybe it's a family member who's afraid of what your success might mean for them. Maybe it's someone you've known for years who just doesn't get the path you're trying to walk. But here's the reality. You can love people from a distance. You don't have to cut them out of your life completely, but you do need to be mindful of how much influence they have over you. If someone is constantly bringing negativity into your life, draining your energy, or making you doubt yourself, you have to set boundaries. It's not about being harsh. It's about protecting your growth. You have to protect your peace, your focus, and your energy. You can't let someone's fear or insecurity stop you from chasing your dreams. And when you start surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, who encourage you, and who want to see you succeed, you'll begin to see a shift in yourself. You'll start to feel more confident, more inspired, and more motivated to take action. So if you're serious about changing your life, take a good look at the people around you. Ask yourself if they're lifting you up or pulling you down. Ask yourself if they're encouraging you to be better, to think bigger, to take risks. And if they're not, it's time to make some changes. The right people will push you, challenge you, and make you better. They'll inspire you to believe in yourself, even when you doubt your ability. They'll show you what's possible when you don't settle for less. And remember, it's not just about finding the right people. It's about being the right person. Be someone who is positive, someone who is driven, someone who always seeks growth. Because when you show up as the best version of yourself, you'll naturally attract the people who will help you go even further. Number 7. Fear is temporary. Regret lasts forever. You know, there's something really powerful about fear. It's a force that can either push us forward or keep us stuck in place. It can be the thing that drives us to become stronger, better, and more capable, or it can be the thing that keeps us in the same spot for years, too afraid to take that first step. And if you let it, fear can control your life. But here's the thing, fear is temporary. Regret, on the other hand, lasts forever. You might be sitting there feeling afraid of something right now. Maybe you're afraid of taking a risk, of stepping out of your comfort zone, of doing something you've never done before. It could be a new job, a new relationship, or a big change that scares the hell out of you. We've all been there. We've all faced that moment when the fear feels so real, so overwhelming, that it paralyzes us. And that's when most people back down. They let fear stop them before they even give themselves a chance to succeed. But here's the thing. What's worse than feeling fear in the moment is the regret you feel later on. Think about it. The fear of failure might keep you from taking a leap now. But if you don't take that leap, what will you be left with in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? Will you be happy knowing that you never tried? Will you be okay with the life you could have lived but didn't because you were too scared? You see, fear fades. The anxiety, the tightness in your chest, the nerves before a big decision, they all pass. But regret doesn't fade. It lingers. It sticks with you. It's the voice in your head at night, the one that says, what if I had done it? What if you had taken that risk? What if you had gone after that dream? What if you had believed in yourself just a little bit more? Those what ifs can eat away at you for years. And that's something you don't want to live with. Regret is not just a feeling of disappointment. It's a reminder of missed opportunities. Every time you think back to that thing you didn't do because you were afraid, it hits you again. And over time, regret can become heavier. It can make you feel like you missed your chance, like you can't go back and make things right. It can convince you that the life you want is no longer possible, that it's too late to make a change. But the truth is, it's never too late. You can't change the past, but you can change the present. You can make a decision today to stop letting fear control you, to stop allowing it to make the choices for you. If you keep waiting for fear to go away, you'll never take action. Fear is always going to be there. But the key is learning how to move forward in spite of it. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've achieved great things. Do you think they never felt fear? Of course they did. They felt it just like you do. But the difference is, they didn't let fear stop them. They took action anyway. They understood that the cost of inaction, the cost of living with regret, was far worse than the temporary discomfort of facing their fears. It's time to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What's holding you back? And then what's the cost of not doing it? What will your life look like in a year, 5 years, 10 years, if you don't face that fear? Will you be happy with the decisions you made, or will you be looking back wishing you had taken that leap? The truth is, the only way to get past fear is to face it. And here's the secret. When you face it, When you take that first step, you realize that fear is not as powerful as you thought. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff. At first it seems terrifying, like there's no way you can jump. But once you make the decision to go for it, once you take the leap, you realize that it wasn't as bad as you imagined. And in fact, you might even find that the fall is a lot smoother than you thought. Regret, however, is a whole different story. It doesn't just fade, it doesn't just disappear. It stays with you, reminding you of the things you didn't do, the risks you didn't take, the dreams you didn't chase. And if you don't want to live with that regret, you have to act now. You have to choose action over fear, progress over hesitation, the future over the past. So make a promise to yourself right now. Don't let fear control you. Don't let it stop you from becoming the person you were meant to be. Fear is temporary. Regret lasts forever. And when you look back at your life, you want to see a story of courage, not one of missed opportunities. You want to see a life where you went for it, where you took risks, where you did what you were afraid of, and where you created something amazing because you refused to let fear win. There's a whole world out there waiting for you to step into it. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let regret be the thing that defines your future. Take that first step today. Take that leap. Because when you do, you'll realize that fear was never as big as it seemed. And the life you've always wanted is closer than you think. Number 8. Every failure is a step forward. Failure is not the end. It's not something to be ashamed of. And it doesn't mean you're not good enough. In fact, failure is often one of the most powerful tools you can use to get closer to success. Every time you fail, you learn something. And when you learn, you grow. So the next time you fail, because it will happen at some point, don't look at it as a roadblock. Look at it as a stepping stone. A lesson that's preparing you for the next stage of your journey. Let me tell you something. Failure is part of the process. There is no way to avoid it. No one, absolutely no one, has reached their goals without facing some kind of failure along the way. Every successful person, every business leader, every artist, every athlete, every entrepreneur, they all faced failure at some point. It's how they responded to failure that made all the difference. If you're struggling right now and you feel like you've failed, know this: you're not alone. The best of the best have been in your shoes. They faced disappointment, rejection, and setbacks. And while it might not feel like it in the moment, that failure is setting you up for success. The only real failure comes from quitting. When you stop trying, when you give up, when you throw in the towel, that's when the game is over. But as long as you keep going, as long as you keep learning from your mistakes and using them as fuel to get better, you're moving in the right direction. Think about it for a moment. When was the last time you learned something truly valuable? It's probably a time when things didn't go as planned, right? Maybe you made a mistake. Maybe you tried something and it didn't work out. But when you reflect on it, you probably learned more from that experience than you ever would have if everything went smoothly. Failure forces you to take a step back, to reassess what you're doing, to figure out what went wrong and how you can do it better. It's in those moments of struggle that you discover your strength, your resilience, and your ability to overcome obstacles. But it's easy to get discouraged, isn't it? When things don't work out the way you hoped, when you give it everything you've got and still fall short, it can be hard to keep going. You start to wonder if you're good enough, if you have what it takes, if it's even worth it. I want to remind you of something important. You are good enough. You do have what it takes. And yes, it's absolutely worth it. The road to success is paved with failure, and every setback is just another opportunity to prove to yourself that you can get back up and keep moving forward. Every failure is a step forward because it teaches you something new. It gives you a new piece of the puzzle that you didn't have before. It might feel painful at first. It might sting, but that's the price you pay for growth. Every mistake you make, every wrong turn, every failure is a lesson that you'll carry with you for the rest of your life. And as long as you don't let those lessons go to waste, you'll be better for it. But here's something else to consider. Sometimes failure is not the end result of a poor decision or lack of effort. Sometimes it's simply a delay in the process. It's easy to think that if something doesn't work out immediately, it means it will never work out. But that's not true. You can't judge the success of your efforts based on the short-term outcome. You don't know what's coming around the corner. What might seem like a failure today could be the foundation for something incredible tomorrow. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed countless times before he invented the light bulb. He didn't just fail once or twice. He failed thousands of times. But when asked about it, he didn't see those failures as failures. He saw them as steps in the process, each one bringing him closer to the solution. When you approach failure with that mindset, it changes everything. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, you start to see it as an inevitable part of success. Failure also has a way of teaching you resilience. It forces you to get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. It builds your character and strengthens your resolve. Every time you fail and keep going, you prove to yourself that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. You learn to trust yourself, to believe in your ability to adapt, to keep pushing forward even when things aren't going the way you planned. But I know it's not always that easy. It's hard to stay motivated when you've been knocked down. It's hard to keep going when everything seems to be working against you. But that's where determination comes in. Determination is what keeps you going when things are tough. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning when you feel like giving up. It's the fire that drives you, the force that keeps you moving forward even when you can't see the finish line. And it's in those moments when you're facing failure head-on and choosing to keep going, that you'll look back one day and realize that those were the moments that shaped you into who you are. Failure isn't just a bump in the road. It's part of the journey. It's part of becoming who you were meant to be. So don't be afraid of it. Don't shy away from it. Embrace it. Learn from it. And when you fall, get up and keep moving forward, because every failure is a step closer to your success, and you're capable of achieving it. You just have to keep going. Number 9, discipline and consistency lead to success. You know, when it comes to success, there's one thing that separates the people who get there and the people who don't: discipline. It's not talent, it's not luck, and it's not about waiting for the right moment. It's about the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. That's what discipline is all about. It's about creating the habits that will carry you through, even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Think about the things you really want in life. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a better relationship, or maybe it's just more happiness and peace in your day-to-day. Whatever it is, you're not going to get there by wishing for it. You're not going to get there by waiting for the right moment to show up. You're going to get there by making discipline your ally. Every successful person you know, every person who has achieved something great, has one thing in common: they have built their lives on the foundation of discipline. It's not about how much you know or how talented you are, or even how much money you have. It's about your ability to be consistent, to show up every day and put in the work, even when it feels hard. I know it's not always easy. There are days when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when it feels like nothing is going right. You'll face obstacles. You'll feel like giving up. You'll have days when you don't want to do the things that will get you closer to your goals. And in those moments, that's where discipline comes in. Discipline is what gets you out of bed in the morning when you don't feel like it. It's what pushes you to take action when you'd rather sit back and relax. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're busy, or if you'd rather be doing something else. Discipline just says, this is what needs to be done, so let's get to it. That's why discipline is the key to success. Because no matter what, if you have the discipline to keep going, you will get closer to your goals. Every day that you choose to show up, every day that you choose to do the hard thing, every day that you push through the resistance, you're building a future that is aligned with the life you want to create. The small, consistent actions you take today compound over time and lead to big results tomorrow. It's those little decisions, those small habits that you form, that make all the difference. But here's the truth. Discipline is not something that just magically appears. It's not something that's handed to you on a silver platter. It's something you have to build, piece by piece. And that's where consistency comes in. You can't expect to change your life overnight. You can't expect to wake up one day and suddenly have the discipline to achieve everything you've ever wanted. It's something that takes time. It's something that you have to practice every single day. And yes, it will be hard at first. It will feel uncomfortable. But that's the beauty of it. Every time you push through the discomfort, you're strengthening your ability to keep going. Every time you do the thing you don't feel like doing, you're creating the habit that will take you to the next level. I think one of the biggest challenges people face when it comes to discipline is that they expect instant results. We live in a world where everything is fast. We want things now. Instant gratification is the norm. But the truth is, real success doesn't come quickly. It's built over time, through consistent effort and small wins. It's about doing the right thing day in and day out, even when you don't see immediate results. But trust me when I say, the results will come. They always do. When you make discipline a priority, it starts to show up in every area of your life. It's not just about your career or your goals. It's about who you become in the process. You begin to notice how your habits affect your health, your relationships, and your overall happiness. And that's when discipline stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling like freedom. Because when you're disciplined, you're in control. You're not at the mercy of your emotions, of your circumstances, or of your excuses. You get to decide who you are, who you're becoming, and what your future looks like. There's a quote I love that says, "We are what we repeatedly do." It's true. The small, consistent actions you take every day shape who you are and what you become. If you're consistently disciplined, you'll become a person who achieves great things. If you're consistently lazy, you'll become a person who wonders why they never got anywhere. It's not about big leaps or giant moves. It's about the small, consistent steps that you take every day that eventually lead you to the place you want to be. Now, I know that might sound simple, but I also know that it's not always easy. There will be days when you don't feel motivated, when you don't want to put in the work. But that's when discipline becomes even more important. When you're not feeling it, when it's hard to get up and keep going, that's when you really need to dig deep and rely on your discipline to push you forward. You have to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Because over time, you'll start to see that your consistency is paying off. You'll look back and realize that the small actions you've been taking every day are leading you to something much bigger than you ever imagined. Discipline is the difference between wishing and doing. It's the difference between wanting a better life and actually creating one. It's the difference between dreaming about success and making it a reality. And when you make discipline your ally, there's no limit to what you can achieve. You're not relying on motivation or luck or waiting for the perfect moment. You're relying on your ability to show up, to do the work, and to keep going, no matter what. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're struggling to get the results you want, ask yourself this: are you truly disciplined? Are you doing the small things consistently, even when it's hard? Because if you can master discipline, you will master your life. And when you do, you'll realize that success isn't just something that happens to you. It's something you create every single day with your actions. Discipline is the key that unlocks the door to everything you want. Keep showing up, keep doing the work, and watch as your life starts to change in ways you never thought possible. Number 10. The time to start is now. There's something powerful about the moment you decide to start. That single decision, that one moment of commitment, can change the course of your life. But here's the problem. Most people don't start. They hesitate. They wait for the right time. They wait until they feel ready. And let me tell you, that perfect moment, it doesn't exist. The right time is not coming. You will never wake up one day feeling fully prepared, fully confident, and fully capable. That's not how success works. Success doesn't wait for you to be ready. It rewards the ones who take action, even when they're scared, even when they're uncertain, even when they don't have everything figured out. You see, a lot of people spend their lives waiting for motivation, waiting for inspiration, waiting until they have more time, more money, more knowledge, more confidence. And while they're waiting, time is passing. Life is moving forward, with or without them. And one day they wake up and realize they've been standing still while the world kept going. They look back and regret not starting sooner. They think about all the things they could have done, all the dreams they could have pursued, all the goals they could have achieved, but they didn't, because they kept waiting. If you're waiting for a sign, this is it. This is your sign. The time to start is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when everything is perfect. Now, because every day you delay is a day you could have been making progress, a day you could have been moving closer to the life you want, a day you could have been building momentum. And momentum is everything. Once you start, once you take that first step, something shifts inside you. You start to see possibilities you never noticed before. You start to believe in yourself, in a way you never have before. And suddenly what once seemed impossible doesn't seem so far away anymore. Starting is the hardest part. It's uncomfortable. It's scary. Your mind will come up with 1,000 reasons why you should wait. It will tell you that you're not ready, that you don't know enough, that you're not good enough. But you have to push past that. You have to start before you feel ready. Because readiness is a myth. The truth is, you become ready by doing. You gain confidence by taking action. You get better by starting. You don't need all the answers right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to take that first step, no matter how small it is. Think about the people who have achieved great things. They all started somewhere. They all had doubts. They all faced challenges. But the difference between them and everyone else is that they didn't let those doubts stop them. They didn't let fear hold them back. They moved forward anyway. They took action, even when they weren't sure what would happen. And because of that, they created opportunities for themselves. They built something out of nothing. And you can do the same. But it starts with you deciding, right now, that you are going to take that first step. It doesn't matter if you're starting small. It doesn't matter if you make mistakes along the way. What matters is that you are moving, that you are taking action. Because action leads to progress. And progress builds momentum. And once you have momentum, nothing can stop you. The hardest part is getting started. But once you do, you'll realize that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible. You don't have to have it all figured out today. You just have to start. If you wait until you feel completely confident, you will never begin. Confidence comes from doing, from showing up every day, from taking action despite the fear, from proving to yourself, over and over again, that you can handle whatever comes your way. You have to trust that you will figure things out along the way, that you will grow as you go, that you will learn through experience. You might be thinking, but what if I fail? And my answer to that is simple. So what? So what if you fail? Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than they can count. The only difference is that they didn't let failure stop them. They learned from it. They adjusted. They kept going. And that's exactly what you have to do. You have to be willing to fail. You have to be willing to look foolish, to make mistakes, to struggle in the beginning, because that's how you grow. That's how you get better. That's how you succeed. The biggest regret people have in life is not the things they tried and failed at. It's the things they never tried at all. The dreams they let die because they were too afraid to start. The chances they didn't take. The opportunities they missed. Don't let that be you. Don't let fear make your decisions for you. Don't let doubt hold you back. You have everything you need right now to take the first step. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's approval. You just need to make the decision that you are going to start. You have so much potential inside of you, more than you even realize. But that potential means nothing if you don't take action, if you don't use it, if you don't push yourself to grow. Your dreams are possible. Your goals are within reach, but you have to be the one to go after them. No one is coming to do it for you. No one is going to hand you success. It's up to you, and the best time to start is now. So whatever it is you've been putting off, whatever it is you've been waiting to do, start today. Even if it's just a small step, even if it's just one little action, just start. Because once you do, everything will begin to change. You will begin to change. And one day you will look back at this moment and realize that this was the day everything started to shift. The day you finally decided to stop waiting and start doing. And when that happens, you'll be grateful that you didn't waste another moment waiting for the perfect time. Because the perfect time is right now.